My name is Anaya. I'm currently enrolled in the Principles of Speech and Communication. I'm from a multiracial family where my mom is white and my dad is black. I was born and raised in Oklahoma. I have moved around and lived in a few different cities here. Growing up, I experienced a mix of traditions and celebrations, which has shaped how I eat, cook, care for myself. I am pretty flexible, I'd like to say. If I need to adjust, I can, because of, I had to do that when moving around so much and going to different elementary schools. I plan to attend college and pursue a career in occupational therapy. In 10 years, I'd love to see myself with a stable job and a place to call home, while also having extra money to support my family, such as my younger siblings and my grandmas when needed. I consider myself a good communicator when it comes to listening and being empathetic. Sometimes I feel like I'm too empathetic, and that allows people to walk all over me. Today I'll be going over my culture backgrounds, nonverbal communication, how it connects to my culture, the impact of mass communication, and how it connects to my culture as well. On my dad's side of the family, we have big cookouts with extended relatives on holidays like Labor Day and the 4th of July. On my mom's side of the family, it was, smaller gatherings, mostly just my Grammy, my mom, and my aunt, and, my siblings and my cousins. Thanksgiving and Easter were always held at my aunt's house, and my Grammy would always show up to birthdays with, a balloon and enough cupcakes for everyone. During these traditions on both sides of my families, we never really had a lot of decorations or any at all, and it was because we didn't and kind of don't have a lot of money. And this has taught me to just be appreciative to the people that, show up, and just, they're the ones that make it happen and plan stuff. And, it just shows me that not everything has to be, big and colorful. It's perfectly fine when you just have family. These different cultural, traditions, practices have shaped how I communicate, and, my dad's side of the family is more collectivist with the big family, and my mom's side of the family is more individualistic, so I have, experience with both, big crowds and more personal stuff. This will honestly help me in my career, because, if my patient wants their family to be involved, then they will, and if not, they want to just be one-on-one, totally fine. In my family, nonverbal communication, both sides of my family, is expected. When you're talking to someone, you're expected to hold eye contact, and when you're greeting someone, you're expected to give them hugs. I personally don't like hugs or eye contact. That's why I'm kind of looking all over the place. It just makes me feel uncomfortable, so I feel like I can easily put myself in other people's shoes when it comes to, what their preference is and how they grew up and stuff like that. Which would, help me build a relationship with my patients and make sure they're comfortable. One advantage of mass communication is it, just connects everyone, and, lets people show their culture and their food, their tradition. However, a disadvantage is that, social media likes to kind of twist things, and that just creates stereotypes and a bunch of misunderstandings. My family personally uses, Facebook to connect with extended family when they can't come to celebrations, posting about it, and, them saying, hey, sorry we couldn't make it in the comments, but, we still love you guys. It's just really nice and loving to hear, And I love that we have a big family group chat on Facebook, and everyone just kind of sends funny reels. Anyways, I discussed my background, highlighted the importance of nonverbal communication, and, you know, my own things that I've learned throughout, you know, living with my family and celebrating everything. Um, I do hope that, you know, hopefully I get a good grade, and have a good rest of your day, night. That's the end of my speech.